Let's take a closer look at the Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron Desert Skiff.
Varykino, living the Star Wars life.
Hello there, and thanks for visiting the Varykino YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be unboxing a recent addition to our Star Wars Micro Galaxy Squadron collection, and that is the Desert Skiff. As you can see from the side here, this is from the more recent Series 5. For us here in New Zealand, this wave just hit our store shelves and we hunted around to find as many as we could, which was very exciting. We were able to find the full wave and even some of the chasers as well. So before I open it up, I'm going to take a closer look at the packaging because there's some interesting differences with this one compared to some of the other ones that I've opened personally myself. So I'm keen to check it out. So of course we can see the Desert Skiff is kind of a top-down view in the box here. We can see some of those details already. We've got some clear clips to hold the little minifigures in place. And I'm sure we're going to have some interesting features. We can see something is indicating being moved here with the minifigure. We can see this one comes with two. We've got Han Solo and Nikto skiff guard. Across the front we have that classic silver foil stripe that says Desert Skiff here. And this one is number 0101. And then also, because I guess toy companies are still celebrating the 40th of Return of the Jedi, this one includes that silver sticker, even though technically that was 2023 last year. But it's fun that they're still, celebrating 40 years of Return of the Jedi with those stickers on new products. Another thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that on the back of Micro Galaxy Squadron backing cards, there's usually some really cool space scenes, some action artwork there going on. And as best I can tell, it's just plain sand. There isn't like the Sarlacc pit or Jabba's sail barge or anything kind of actiony going on there. It's just a sand backdrop, which is kind of different and a little bit interesting. It does give quite a light appearance to the box. Usually it's black or, very dark colors there in the background with like the Death Star or something like that. So that's kind of interesting as well. So there we go. That is the front of the packaging. We'll take a closer look at the back now. Pretty standard for the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. We have a sort of a little hologram style image there of the vehicle in question. We can see this as a Desert Skiff from the light armor class. Here across the bottom we can see some of the other ships from Series 5. Mace Windu's Jedi Starfighter, Resistance X-Wing, Darth Vader's Sith Interceptor, and Kit Fisto's Jedi Starfighter there as well. If you are interested in chase vehicles from the Micro Galaxy Squadron line, I do have unboxing videos up of these two. Very excited to be able to add those to my collection. I'll have those videos linked down below. Very, very cool ships. Moving on back to the Desert Skiff, we have over here the collectible blueprint that you can cut out and keep if you don't want to keep all of the packaging. It's a nice little memento. It's kind of a trading card size there. Up the top and down the bottom here, we have some action features for this skiff, which I think is really interesting. It looks like we have a railing that's going to fold out, something that's going to pop up, and very, very exciting for me personally, this one says it includes a flight stand. So if you've watched any of my other Micro Galaxy Squadron unboxings, you'll know that I often lament the fact that they don't come with stands. So you often have to display them on your shelf with their wings all sort of folded up. Not the coolest. And this one actually includes a stand. So this is my very first Micro Galaxy Squadron unboxing to check out a stand. I'm very, very excited. And we can see we've also got that sort of walk the plank feature there that's going to pop out at the side of the skiff. So very, very cool. I'm hoping they do another one so that we can get a few of the other characters and we can kind of get two. I don't really want to sort of army build this one specifically because I'm just going to double up on the minifigures. That would be pretty easy for them to reissue this with some other skiff guards and some of the other heroes so that we can build two. And fingers crossed, we will someday get a Jabba's sail barge so we can do a bit of a scene. I think that would look pretty cool. I know Jabba's sail barge is pretty big, but I really want to see some more big ships from the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. I'm absolutely loving collecting this line. I want to see them do as many of the Star Wars ships and vehicles as we can manage. So there you go. That is the packaging for the Desert Skiff. I'm really excited. So let's get in and open it up and check out all of those features. So now I have the vehicle, the stand, and the minifigures all unboxed. We'll take a closer look at each one, and I'm going to start with the little minifigures. These are always so cool. They're not really necessary for a lot of the Star Wars starships, especially if they disappear inside a cockpit, but for the ones where they are visible, like some of the cockpits with the clear windows, it just adds that little bit extra. And I'm always really impressed with the level of detail in sculpting and paint. So here we've got Han Solo and a Nikto skiff guard there. On the back we have a blueprint style artwork of each figure, which gives us a little bit more of a closer look at some of that detail there. It's very hard to see on the figure themselves sometimes because of their small scale. So I'm just going to pop these ones out of their little plastic tray. It's also useful if you prefer not to have them displayed. This is a great little storage case for them, so you don't accidentally lose them, because they are the kind of size and scale that's going to disappear behind a bookshelf or something. So here we have Han Solo, of course, in his post-carbonite outfit with his white shirt and brown pants, and he's even got his little yellow Corellian blood stripes down there, black boots, and a simple paint job with just brown hair, no face details here. He can raise his arms up like many of the other figures, and he's got very stiff. Oh golly, is he not going to bend at the waist? I can see the articulation, but his legs are bending more than they're actually... Okay, this one, I don't know if that's glued. He doesn't want to bend. And because they're not sitting in a cockpit on this one, I'm not going to force that. His legs were bending, and I really don't want to break my figure. So I don't know. I've either got a very stiff one, or he has been glued to stand up, which is weird because he can move his arms. So yeah, I'm not going to demo that because that was very stiff. Okay, they're so small. I'm always worried about breaking these ones if you're trying to be too forceful. Here we have the skiff guard. He's got a little bit more detail. There's kind of a lot going on here. He's got a hood with a little, there's like a little silver emblem painted on the top of his hood there. Goes down into a green sort of backpack here. And we've got a belt, sort of a shoulder chest harness here, beige pants, little boots, and then again on the back, we've even got, if I move his arms up out of the way, a little blaster sculpted on his hip. So we'll see. So he can raise his arms. And oh yes, that is very stiff for him. He can sit in that kind of cockpit pose. But again, these ones are going to be standing, so it's not too important that these ones bend at the waist. But most of the figures from this line, you can sort of put them into a cockpit. Not that you're really going to mix and match these ones, so I'm going to keep mine standing. And hopefully they're going to be not too hard to get into these clips to hold them in place. Because their feet are so small, there are no pegs or anything like some other toy lines, so you can sort of stand them on a peg in there. These ones have clips instead. So personal preference, I guess, if you like the look of the clips here or not. I think they're going to look a lot better with some figures standing in there. I don't know if these are removable. They look fairly secure there. And I'm not going to try and remove them and test that theory in case they are not, and I break one, because they are a bit flexible. Like some of the other clips and that, they're kind of a bit, maybe I can throw it here, they're kind of a bit rubbery, so you can flex them a little bit to get figures inside. So one of the other things I'm really fascinated to take a look at is this clear flight stand. It's actually got some quite interesting details. We've got an upright with a ball so that we can get some good rotation and posability once we attach the skiff to it. So I'm looking forward to checking out all the posing options there. And we've got a little bit of sort of Starship Greebly decal sort of design here. So we've got some circles and different sort of bits and pieces going on here that is raised on the surface of the plastic. And you can just make out, it's kind of printed on the underside so that it shows through the Star Wars logo there. It's a little bit faint because there's kind of a frosted underside. You can see the Star Wars logo there and the sort of frosted, I guess, surface of the underside, but yeah, it's mirrored so that it's showing the right way around. So it has a little bit of a direction. So I'm thinking I'm sort of going to pose it with the arrow part facing forward and like that. I guess you could do it on the side as well. Very keen to attach that because I think especially for something like this that we don't ever see it really landed. I think that that's going to look so cool. So now, of course, we're up to the Desert Skiff itself. So I was so excited to see this on the shelf. It's so different to any of the other ships from the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. It's not really a land speeder, you know, but it's so iconic in terms of the original trilogy. And I'm just so excited to see this one. It immediately caught my attention. So at first glance, it is a small ship. This is the light armor class. It is not one of the bigger starships. And at first appearances, it looks like it's pretty much all one color, just that kind of brown plastic, with the exception of the clear clips in there. When I was taking it out of the box, I did notice what appears to be very minimal gray weathering in like a few spots. And I'm assuming this is to kind of give it a little bit of a sandy underneath. It's perhaps more noticeable in some patches where it has blobbed a little bit. You can see a little bit of gray there, and there is it's really, really minimal. So at first I wasn't sure if it was sort of intentional, but you can just sort of catch it in a few places where it looks like there is a little bit of gray. It's really, really light, and because of the way it was packaged in the box, looking top down, I wasn't able to see if other ships on the shelf had similar weathering, or whether this one's just been sort of near another ship being painted and it's caught some very minimal, because I would have thought if it was properly weathered it would be more noticeable. But yeah, and then we can see that nice big peg hole there so that we can attach it to the stand very shortly. We've got all sorts of cool little sculpted designs here on the underside, which were completely hidden in the boxed version. And we can see we've got the plank that we're going to pull out very shortly. And we've got lots of movement here. I had to kind of fold these in a little bit because I didn't want to break them sitting this on the desk. But yes, they've got some very nice movement. They just spin around so you can pose them. They don't flare out or sort of angular. I can't sort of pose them out. They just want to spin there. And it almost sort of makes me, every time I spot this, I'm like, oh no. But yes, there is battle damage sculpted on this ship. We can see it's kind of dug into here and very prominently on the front. So you can see the battle damage there and there, a little bit more here on the side. And I think it's just those main areas there, which is kind of fun. Very nice. So let's take a look at some of the features. So based on the, let's see, there is a middle section here that's supposed to open up according to the box. There's a little bit of a tab here. So I'm going to try and pull on that and see how well. Oh, nice and easy. We've got like a little silver engine. We've got some painted components in here. That's kind of fun. It's a very nice silver metallic paint over some very fine detail. That's a fun little sort of engine component there. And that closes nicely there. So I think, yep, we've got this railing we can fold down. Very easy to do that. And then we've got the walk the plank section here. So let's see how hard this one is to pull out. Oh, that's very stiff. There we go. So I guess if you really want to, you might be able to pose a figure on the plank, though of course there is no clips or anything like that. So it's a risk you would be taking upon yourself if you wish to display a figure standing here. I think you'd have to want to put a case around this to make sure that that figure doesn't really disappear off your display shelf. I really like the sort of the piloting console here. There's a lot of detail there. It's just, I love the little sculpted details that Micro Galaxy Squadrons does across these ships. So very fine detail. I'm really hoping I can get a figure in there, but it's so tight. That's going to be a tricky one, but I think it would look cool if I could get the skiff guard in there. If I can't, I'm going to try and put him in this one here, because I kind of want, I don't know if I want Han over here. We'll have a play around with some of that. And then of course we've got those bits moving. Decide how I really want to sort of pose them once I've got them on the stand. So I guess I think while I've got it in my hands, it's a little bit more sturdier. I'm going to try and put the figures on the stand, because I don't really want to be pushing down on this ball stand to put the figures in here, because I feel like I need the maneuverability to put these figures in. The Han Solo's got much thinner legs, so I'm hoping he will be easy to pop in. So, oh, and one other thing I just spotted, just in the light, it's like a little bit of glue here that's just kind of catching the light. It's a bit shiny. You can see it here. It's a little bit of a shame, but again, if I've got it displayed, it's not going to be too visible. And I don't know, I didn't see that through the plastic on the packaging of my one. So just every now and again you spot something that you may wish you had noticed in the store, but overall it's pretty hidden and it doesn't really detract from the overall look of the vehicle. So let's go and see how well I can get Han standing in this. I think I want to face him this way. And let's see if I can wiggle his feet in through this gap. Okay. Oh, there's some creaking going on. Okay, let's see. There are his feet. His feet are standing. There we go. Kind of pinched his feet together and then I could kind of get them in. You can see his feet are on the deck there. It's very dark, I know, I'm sorry. There we go. We can just see his feet and the clips go around his lower legs. It's not around the waist. So if you're kind of looking at it like that, you don't see them too much. I know some of the sort of the clips are for around certain characters. In particular, I had trouble with the Wrecker figure from the Bad Batch Marauder. He is a big figure and these clips can be tiny and are quite a trick. But overall, it is useful to hold the figures in place for certain ship designs. And there's no other way to make sure that the figures stay in place for these. So I don't mind it. I do like the figures, but I know if you're sort of a little bit more of a purist that are wanting to collect just the vehicles, these might be a little bit of a distraction for you if you don't want to put the figures in the place. So let's go with the skiff guard. I have no idea if I'm going to be able to put him in this one, but I'm going to give it a go. Let's see if I can put his hands up, because you can kind of pinch their feet together just a little bit. Trying not to stress my toys too much, but I really want to pose him here. So let's see. Oh, let's go. Yes. Oh, cool. And his hands go really nicely. There we go. Just that little bit of flexibility from the clip itself and being able to pinch his legs together. And you can go there and his hands are just right. I could probably, finesse that just a little bit and kind of make it look like he's holding on to it. That's really cool. And then I've got space up here for someone else. Hoping to add more little figures to this. I do like to keep the figures with the ship that it came with. So I'm wondering how I'm gonna, I kind of wish there was a third figure so that I could fill this with the matching figures that came with this ship. It's a little bit of a shame. Now that I've kind of got them there, we've got this one clip here visible. Like, I could do with another, maybe a skiff guard or something like that, just to fill that in. But overall, it's kind of fun. Lots of moving features. I'm actually impressed that there's like that much that I can move on this in terms of like the railing and stuff like that. That's all kind of fun. I knew it had to have this. You got to have that iconic scene in there. But I wasn't expecting this kind of middle engine section to kind of pop out. That's kind of fun. So let's get this onto the stand, because that's just a very, very exciting addition to the Micro Galaxy Squadron line. So I'm hoping this will just, I don't even know how, I'm expecting it to kind of like snap into place. I'm hoping. Wait, try and, I don't like holding onto this because this is like a moving part, but I don't have much of a grip. Maybe if I push here at the back. Wow, okay, I'm glad I took a break there, because that took combined effort of both myself and my husband taking turns very gently pushing it in. It kind of feels like it goes in, but then it just falls off. When we did finally get it in, it makes an audible click and it is in there very securely. So I don't know why it's that tight. I think personally a vehicle like this should be, you know, able to be taken on and off its stand. Now that it's on here, I am not taking it off again. That was very, very hard, and it felt like this wanted to flex a lot, and it was a real mission trying to keep that still while putting so much downward force on it. But now that it's on there, we can kind of get some, you know, bit of rotation, kind of creaks. It is, you can hear, very tight, but I can move it around. It's such an odd sound, isn't it? But yes, so you can decide which way you want the kind of arrow base to point. It kind of feels like towards the front. That makes sense. And you can sort of tip it around because of that ball joint. So we've got a lot of posability. It's just very, very stiff. And I know they probably wanted it stiff so that you can, you know, point it down and it's not going to fall off of the stand. But wow, that was a really hard job getting it on there. I was not expecting it to be that tight. So now it's on there. I'm very happy. We've got all of those features and the figures standing in there. I was a little bit anxious about those clear clips, but overall the figures went in there fairly well because we've got fairly standard proportions, human characters, so they weren't too bulky through the legs to fit inside those standard size clips. But yeah, this is really cool. This is one of the easier vehicles for us here locally in New Zealand to find from the Series 5 range, which I think is a good thing. I think this is really quite a unique ship. It's not one that's done often as a Star Wars starship, you know, the much more common X-Wings, TIE Fighter, Millennium Falcon, but I think it's still an iconic part of the original trilogy, and it's fun to have it in this small scale in case, you know, we someday get a few more other Jabba's Palace sort of vehicles and things like that to sort of build in a Sarlacc pit. I could, because of the base, it might be a little bit hard. I wouldn't attach it to this base. If you think that you might want to build a diorama, you might want to create something of your own, because this is obviously a big flat plastic stand designed to go on a display shelf. So if you're thinking about building a sort of a sandy pit of Carcoon, maybe not attach it to this and put it aside and make your own. But overall, I am really excited to be able to add the Desert Skiff to my Micro Galaxy Squadron collection. Looks really cool. And yeah, that base was freaking me out, but it's on there. It feels sturdy. I like all the sculpted details. Doesn't have much in the way of a paint job going on. Perhaps it could have a little bit of weathering, but overall, it's a small scale ship. By the time I put this on my shelf, I'm not really going to notice the weathering or lack thereof. So I like the sort of battle damage that is included in the molding there. And the cool little figures. I will say I wish it came with a third, because now I've got this empty clip, and I wish the clips look a lot less visually sort of jarring. When you've got a figure in there, they kind of disappear. This one is just standing here, and I don't really want to take a figure from another vehicle and put it in there, because I know there's, you know, like a Return of the Jedi Luke or something like that, or taking one of the heroes from like a Falcon set or something and putting them there. I wish that there was a second skiff guard. That's my one sort of critique that I would change on this. Other than that, I think it looks really cool. I'm excited. Another great addition to my Micro Galaxy Squadron display shelf. I got a couple more to unbox from Series 5. So if you love collecting this line like I do, feel free to subscribe so you'll get a notification when I upload those unboxing videos. And I'll have some of our other favorite Micro Galaxy Squadron vehicle unboxings linked down below, including those Series 5 chase vehicles that I mentioned earlier. They were such an exciting find, and they look even cooler out of the box, so do check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next video, and as always, may the Force be with you.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like. Check out our other videos and subscribe for alerts about new uploads. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.